Welcome to another episode of the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from NuWave. Take a bow.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Appreciate you having me on the pod.
I'm glad you could be here. We are powered by ThinkTank Thought Leadership. Right now we're sitting in the beautiful Studio Jefferson, which is just on the edge of Grand Rapids here. Beautiful facility. It's just set up well. They got great people here. Our executive producer, ThinkTank, has helped us out from the beginning to all the way to now. We've been doing this for just over a year now. They helped us form the show. They helped us figure out like the cadence of it, even some topics of it. They help us with the social. They help us shoot it, edit it, kind of all the way around. And cue to Pete.
The other thing that I'll add, and this won't come out for like 3 or 4 more weeks, so it probably won't mean a whole lot, but the parking lot was plowed when I pulled in this morning, and that was a nice touch because
we get here early.
The rest of the city is not plowed.
It is not.
It is the deep freeze, and there's a shit ton of snow out there. But I will say, if you want to be cool, have a podcast. And if you're going to have a podcast, do it with ThinkTank Thought Leadership. They probably hate when I say that. Like, we wish Pete would stop saying that. But I'm going to keep saying it anyway.
They're behind the camera going,
Why does this idiot keep saying this every time? We don't think it's cool.
But we do appreciate them. So with that, we have a really fun guest today. I'm excited about this one. We found Josh kind of in an odd way, I would say. But I want to welcome to the show Mr. Josh Ross from Scalable AI.
Yeah, thanks you guys for having me. I'm pumped to be here. I'm pumped to, maybe we won't talk about James Brown, but pumped to talk about AI with you guys. I mean, this could be an 8-hour podcast. I love doing it. So
it could be.
Nice. Now, Scalable AI is the company that you keep.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Tell me what got you into there. I always like hearing people's journey of, I did this and then I wanted to come and do that.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, my step in the AI space really didn't start with, okay, I want to do AI. I want to figure out how to use this. I was just like, what does it mean to be a business owner? Like, how do I learn from people that are successful in the space, have done it? Like, really. So a guy I knew, his name is Bill. He owns like $20 million company, super high visionary, the EOS, but super high visionary, nice. Super high entrepreneur. And I'm like, I want to learn how to be Bill, right? And so I'm like, hey, Bill, can I come shadow you for a day? I just want to follow you around, understand what you do. And he's like, yeah, I'd love it. And I come in for the day. And we sit down at his desk to start the day. I'm thinking it's like, okay, 5 minutes, and then we'll go talk to the team, right? And he ended up spending that entire day just reviewing invoices and reviewing SOs. It's a fleet repair company. So he was just reviewing work by his team. And I'm sitting there, I'm 20 years old. I'm like, this doesn't make sense, right? Like, you're the founder of this huge company. You've brought it to be what it is, and you're spending your time doing this intern work. And this was right around the time when like N8N was coming.
Yeah.
And so these workflow tools were new. And I'm like, Bill, I don't know this thing yet, but I can figure you out a solution for this. Like, this doesn't work for me.
I know it's my first day and you're not even paying me, but I'm going to change your shit.
Well, I did have a relationship with Bill before this, so
right.
It wasn't like, hey man, you know me for a half hour. I think you should do business this way. Yeah. Listen to the 20-year-old. But yeah, so I built him a tool like on N8N. Wasn't great, but it did the job, and that like rocked his world. And he was like, I know 5 more companies that can use this exact same thing. And so kind of stumbled into that space of like, okay, let's be an AI agency. Let's do custom software. Everybody needs this thing. And so we were Logos AI at the start after my grandpa had a bookstore in Detroit. So I'm like, I'm gonna name it Logos AI, and we're going to pay homage to him. And after about 3 months of people asking me to do their branding, I was like, we need a new name. So now we're Scalable AI.
Oh, yeah.
And long story short, out of the custom software space, we're building this really cool suite of AI tools for manufacturers. I'll dive into that in a little bit. But now I'm hooked. Now I am officially a nerd. And my dad vetted me on this. So he's an IT guy, and I'm like bringing up stuff. And that was the point where the student has become the master.
You got the seal of approval.
Exactly. Yeah. I got my diploma. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
But so
I think you have the right mindset though, because it's and you and I talk about this all the time. AI is so powerful. We don't know everything it can do, but I know it can do it.
Right.
It's that curiosity, that willing to say, I have no idea how this is done, but I know it can be done. Let's explore that.
100%.
And I think that's a huge advantage of having that mindset when working in a company, when working for a company, any of that. So you're not going, well, this is how we always do it, and this is how it's always been done, and I have no idea, so I'm just not even going to explore it.
It's just how we do things here.
Yeah. But to have that, so to have someone young and fresh eyes looking at it for the first time going, why on earth would you do this?
Right.
When we hire new people, we constantly ask them, do not be shy about adding in. Don't think, well, I'm the new guy, I shouldn't rock the boat. Rock the boat.
Right.
Because invariably we're doing something 100 times over again the same way, and then they look at it going, well, this is dumb. Why don't you do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Move it to over here, and it's a lot fat. And it's like, oh, I never even thought of that.
Yeah. That's how all great businesses start. Is
Yeah.
like, wait, we can do this better.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
started with Bill, and now we're doing manufacturing back office a little bit better. So
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
You gotta be thinking like, kudos to Bill for building a $20 million company. That's a unit, it's not technically a unicorn by not a $1 billion company by technical unicorn standards, but the amount of businesses that succeed is minimal. The businesses that make it to $1 million in revenue, incredibly small. 20 million in revenue, holy shit. So shout out to Bill, congrats. But I doubt when Bill sat down in the beginning, he's like, can't wait to be a $20 million company so I can spend a whole day reviewing invoices. That's the future that I'm building for myself. But we find ourselves there, and that's nothing against Bill. Every entrepreneur does it.
Doing what entrepreneurs do, yeah.
And you just
fill a gap.
Yeah, you just like, it needs to be done, so I'm doing it. And because you're so into it and you're thinking about all the other things and you're running this company and there's a million different things going on, it's hard to sit down and think like, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Right.
And sometimes it takes the 20-year-old kid to come in with a fresh set of eyes and be like, what the hell are you doing, Bill? Like, come on, let's give you some time back. Let's enjoy your life with it. You got to be making good money at this point, and you did this for freedom, right? Not being stuck at your desk doing that.
Totally. It's like, I want to put in that work. I want to be doing the intern stuff at the beginning. Right?
Yeah.
Eventually, so I can be this strategic thinker, this problem solver, and just wasn't the case. But now he's going to be a little bit more of that. So it's fun to watch. But
Well, it takes one getting it right one time, and then you're like, well, what else can you do, Josh?
absolutely. Yeah.
Because this sucks too, and I hate doing this. So can you come take a look at this too? And then you start getting that momentum, and man, that's when it starts getting real fun.
Yeah. Blinders are off for sure.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, owners have other friends that are owners. Well, this guy needs it too. Well, what about this guy? And then you grew your business.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was a fun way into the space, but I'm really thankful for Bill in particular. So
cool story, man.
That's cool.
Happy
That is
for
cool.
you. What are there any other success stories, or do you want to dive into that a little bit more? Maybe because one of the things that we can go so many different directions with this, but it might be helpful. Maybe let's just zoom in on that particular workflow. So you can maybe not obviously you're not giving away any secret sauce or anything, but it might be helpful for somebody to hear what exactly he was doing and what you did to augment that or replace that, because then you might see some other light bulbs coming on for other people.
yeah, totally. I mean, so for that situation, so what he's doing is he's a fleet repair company. They do well, and all of their techs on the floor, they have to send through these invoices of like, this is the work we did, this is we charge the customer, all these good things. And what Bill would do is just go through, because he's been in this space for a long time. He's like, that doesn't make sense. We can get a little bit higher margin here based on like the tribal knowledge, right? So what we did for him is just, he gets this long list of invoices to review. What if we just run that through an AI that has all of your past invoices that you processed and to flag any anomalies? So what we have is just like this smart, intelligent filtering system where invoice gets sent through initially. This AI takes a look at it, reviews it, says, hey, we looked at all of the other invoices that you passed through. Usually you get X margin on this part, you're getting Y. And then if there's an anomaly, it just sends it to Bill like, hey, Bill, take a peek at this. We think this is off. Can you approve this? Send it through. And so, for Bill, it's like now he's doing it on the toilet, like scrolling, like, okay, this looks good. This maybe needs a change. But took that from he was like, I spend 8-hour days on this. Like, I hate my life when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
To now it's like, he gets a message of like, take a look at this. Yes, no, approve, done.
Nice.
So super cool.
Nice.
You're really only paying attention to anomalies at that point. So it's just filtering that.
That's what we should be doing, right? And there's so many examples of that where you talk about like humans are not meant to be robotic, yes, no type folks. Like that is what software is designed to do, is to have this defined set of rules and follow those rules. We're meant to be like the strategic, relational, problem solver type folks. And a lot of the times it's either the software or the process that's not allowing us to be that. So if we can inject AI into that to make that a little bit easier, you can get your work back. And to me, when people are like, I hate my job, it's because they're solving the same problem over and over again. Yeah. So how can we change that so that you get to be the strategic thinker that you want to be while the work is still getting done? So that's a really cool use case. And we've got more like that.
I love it. I'd like to hear more. This is
just going to say, can we hear more?
Yeah.
More use cases.
The more, I think Drew and I really feel like our job, not that we get paid to do this, but why we do this is like just revealing what is possible to people. Because it's become painfully obvious for us over the years that we just look at everything through an AI lens. We were talking about this earlier with Terryn. Like a lot of our conversations with friend, family, and coworkers, they'll be describing a problem, and in our brains, we're thinking, "I know AI can fix that."
Yeah.
Have you thought about using AI to do this? So, but not everybody thinks that way. So the more examples that you can share, you're just opening the aperture for people to be like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that."
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to just kind of start going through those.
So a big one, and I'm going to zoom in on manufacturing because that's who we work with. Scalable AI is who we work with. One big part of this software that we're building is like it's a suite of different agents that do things like that, reviewing invoices for them. So a big part of this, and a thing that I've seen across a ton of businesses, is you have your AP rep. So your AP rep, their job is to...
What's an AP rep?
They're like accounts payable, accounts receivable.
Got it.
They handle the POs, the invoices that come through. And a lot of the time, their job is we get this email sent, this invoice sent from a vendor. We need to reconcile that with what's in our ERP already. So we need to make sure what we're paying for is what we have in our system. And a lot of the time, AP reps, and there's Tammy is a good example of this. It's somebody that we worked with. What they're doing is just saying, okay, invoice says this, ERP says otherwise, make that change. So one of the parts of the suite that we're putting in is what if we just had an LLM do that? What if we had the same way that we gave to Bill of like, hey, this invoice doesn't quite match up. Should we make this change? Or it looks the same, let's just process it through. Huge part of what we're doing. Like that was, so we did this initially for a customer that was spending, their AP rep was spending like 18 hours a week just punching this data into Plex, their ERP system. And so what we did is build a system that processes, and AI receives that invoice, looks at what's in the ERP, and makes just updates it if there's no changes. If there is a change, it just asks Tammy, for example, as the user of, hey, we think this is off. Can you confirm this? Yes or no? Approve.
Can we pause there for a second? Because we talk about this all the time, but it bears repeating because this might be the first time that somebody's listening to this. So what you just described, because a lot of people are fearful about AI because they're afraid of it running rampant in their systems. What you just described is what's called human in the loop, and I know you know that term, but for our listeners, is at a point where you still want to have a human involved. You can,
right? So
you can tell the AI like, I'm cool with you making these decisions because they're low impact, they're very deterministic. But when it comes to something a little more sensitive, I want you to just ask me before you do it.
Human governance.
Yeah, green light, yellow light, red light, totally. But like for me, I saw Tammy as like, Tammy doesn't want to be a robot. Tammy doesn't want to punch this stuff in.
Right.
Maybe Tammy has this great idea for how we should be doing this. Like how should we make this system better as a company that could really contribute to the bottom line? But she's spending half her work week just being a robot punching data in. So what we're able to do is just punch that data in. She reviews human in the loop. She'll be the human in the loop and review if anything is off. Just send that through. Ton of time savings. And as well as like Tammy gets to be the strategic thinker that she came into the workplace wanting to be. No one gets out of college with a degree and it's like, I'm super excited to punch data into Excel. This is going to be awesome.
Exactly.
And so what we're able to do is allow Tammy to be a human again, which is really, I'll touch on that when it talks about what does it mean to be scalable. But that's big for us is how can we make people be people?
I love that. And the idea of like what you think about, what you want to do with your day when you wake up. And knowing, can you imagine the next day after that got implemented and Tammy wakes up, she's like, I don't have to
How
spend 18
refreshing
hours
that
this
is.
week
Yeah.
doing that. Like just, I don't know. I can go, and I don't know Tammy. I don't even know who you're talking about. So this is not what I think Tammy's life is. But imagine that Tammy's got a whole bunch of other things going on in her life. Maybe she's got a sick kid or a sick parent, or she got an offender bender on, she was on one of the pileups on 196 here in Snowpocalypse. Like there's enough going on in your life where if you can just make work easier, it's just less stress. And maybe I'm not kicking the dog when I get home or yelling at the kids or whatever it is. Like anything that we can do to reduce the stress and the anxiety and the monotony that comes from doing it. Like you just hate doing that stuff and it just grinds at you. And this, when we talk about this, like this is the promise of AI, is getting back to being a human.
Totally.
They didn't fire Tammy after this went live.
Not at all.
So I'd love to talk to her and be like, how much better are things for you now that you don't have to do this? That'd be a cool test. Maybe you had that testimonial, but that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's just not stimulating in your work to be doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, you guys had Steven Lopez on here a few months ago, and I've been shamelessly stealing what he said since then. So appreciate you, Steven. But he said that everybody says they're a problem solver, right? But really they're firefighters. Like they're putting out the same fire every single day. And that's not fun. That's not what we come to work to do. So what if we could just set up a system to put out those fires so that you can be a problem solver, so that you can enjoy work? Right. And we talk about you want to get big picture, but you talk about like kicking the dog. It's like, that's funny, but it is true to an extent, right? If I'm having fun at work, I'm going to be fun at home. And so being able to carry that energy over is huge. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm pumped about this stuff.
You got me pumped about it. Let's keep going. What else you got?
Yeah. So another one that we're pushing in our suite is there's another situation like that AP automation in the RFQ to quote process. So for manufacturers, the way it works a lot of the time, for a bigger company, you're getting 50, maybe 70 requests for quotes a week. And there's a couple issues there. So there's usually a person whose job is to say, yes, this is what we do. Yes, this fits our parameters, and route that to the division, the building that handles that. That's not fun. That's not stimulating to just be a rule. So what we're doing is, what if we could have an AI that filters all the RFQs that you get sent in a week, says, hey, this fits our parameters. This is the material, the size that we usually go for. And then here's who I send. I send it to the GM at this division of the company. So what if we could do that for them, so that our person that handles RFQ to quote could be like, well, why are we doing this process this way? Why are we taking this job when really the numbers say that we get much higher margins doing X, Y, Z? And you can't do that when you're stuck just being a filter.
Yep. Right.
So being able to process that RFQ, filter it by what jobs are the most profitable, so that we also know that we're getting the most money for what we're spending our engineers' time on. But allowing those reps and the engineering team to do high value, high impact work and not be stuck oh, here's another RFQ that we probably won't take this job anyways. Yeah. But here's this RFQ, we got to quote it out. We got to go through the motions. Yeah. And it's just, to me, those are gold mines for AI. And so that's the really exciting part about our job is hey guys, the tool's here, the solution's here. Let's just figure out how to make it work for you. So
yeah. I worked for a company that would not even accept those because there's more than one reason, but one of the big reasons was the amount of work that would go into, because some of these, you get an Excel sheet that's thousands of lines long, right? And if anybody that's never had to deal with this, you're lucky. But for those of you that do, you know exactly what we're talking about. These things are a giant pain in the ass. Yeah. And the fact that you can streamline that process, man, that it's huge.
Right. Yeah. What we're working on right now is, what if we could do that routing? As well as, what if we could we have all the past quotes that we've submitted, so we know we can get ballpark of what we do. Yeah. What if we could do that initial quote? What if we're not in a manufacturing company? Engineers are the heart and soul. They are the most valuable people in the organization, straight up. So, but what if we could save their time on quoting these jobs that we don't take a lot of the time? But what if we could save that time and put it elsewhere, like this big project for GM that's going to be huge for our business? What if we could spend their time there instead of making these initial quotes? So we're working with some machine learning algorithms to how close can we get to the mark on that, which is really super cool for me, because it's just we're opening this Pandora's box of what can we do now? Like we have this time, we
Right.
can do more high value work. Ultimately, like, and this is another, I've been stealing quotes left and right from people that I talk to, but like Pete Hungerford said, the way to grow your business is do the same with less or do more with the same. So how can we do more with the same? And that's a great opportunity of like, let's just do, what if we just do the high value work instead of going through the motions on jobs that we necessarily don't always take? So huge opportunity for that kind of thing.
Well, and like you said, if you have past quotes that you can aggregate and put into and build your own model based
Right.
on here's the data that's in there. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
You know, versus I got to go back to the engineer or the salesperson who has all this knowledge bottled up. Oh crap, they're out for the week because they're on vacation.
Totally.
I mean, again, you're not trying to replace them. You're enhancing what they do and you're building a database off of their brain
Right.
to go, now we can get all the roughs done. We can get, like you said, that first tier level of the quotes done,
Right.
and escalate ourselves to go, okay, and then humans kick in after that, do the bigger, more valuable stuff.
Totally. And I
That
think
just proves the ROI on it right there.
absolutely. And I mean, when you talk about tribal knowledge, like it exists left and right. Like we're getting to the point where a lot of people are retiring in manufacturing in specific.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do when we have Frank that's 60 years old? He's been doing this for years. He knows exactly, like he gets a quote, he knows what the next step is immediately. How do we transfer that over to Karen, who just came out of college and is new and maybe would have to go talk to Frank about this and takes Frank's time away? But how can we do that for them? So we're doing
And
some
building
cool stuff.
consistency too.
Yeah.
So your senior level person, your junior level person can output roughly at least the same thing consistently.
Yeah.
There's still value in the experienced person too, because eventually, I think you said Karen was the college student.
Yeah, there you go.
Eventually, Karen will learn that system, be able to gut check what the AI is doing. But the first gentleman is still needed there, that human in the loop, verifying these outputs, making sure that they're congruent with what is good for the company and everything. But yeah, I think that idea of being able to not lose something when somebody leaves, be able to onboard the next person faster, make them feel more comfortable in their role. Like it takes a year before somebody feels like they're producing when they move to a new company. What if that was a month? Because you've got this AI that's kind of guiding you through and taking you through the steps, and you're just there to kind of make sure that things keep moving. So it really amps up that time.
Well, and that's kind of the coolest part of and I don't want to talk about my thing the whole time because I talk about it all day and I think it's cool and I can talk about it the whole time, but I don't want to. So another part of this is like, what if we had a chatbot that is hooked up to all your past quotes, all of your machine manuals, your catalogs, so that people within the organization don't have to go ask Frank. Frank can do what he's really good at instead of being, customer support for the internal staff, right? So what if we could hook that up to a chatbot so that you get a customer inquiry, talk to the chatbot, say, hey, customer is requesting XYZ part, looks through your manual, says, okay, this is what we see. You have this part. Here's a PDF that it came from. Go take a look, respond to the customer. Huge customer service boost. Huge internal morale boost, like just more productivity. And these are just left and right in the space. So
and we've talked about this a little bit on here before. So what you're starting to describe is this idea, and the best term that I've heard for it, I don't know if this will be what sticks. There's probably a better way to describe this, but like an AI brain for your business.
Yep.
So you start connecting all these disparate systems, your ERP, your quoting software, your HR system. And if you can just, the way that I've described it, and I'm still not good at it yet, there's got to be a better way, but I describe it as, and when you say chatbots, what reminded me of it, like you're just talking to your business.
Right.
The database knows all the things.
Yeah.
You don't have to know all the things, you just have to know the right questions to ask. So if you're Karen and you're new and let's just say it's connected to the HR system, you're like, I don't want to ask Josh again how to submit my time card. So what if I just went to
Or where do I find
the
it?
chatbot and
The
so,
info
hey,
on it.
how do I do my timesheet again? Because people don't want to bother anybody, especially when you're new, you don't have relationships yet. Wouldn't it be so much easier if the brain had the answers and you could just go to that and ask, like, how do I do that again? Because the computer doesn't care how many times you ask.
Right.
So I love it for that.
And that's one, we've talked about it. We have that at BizStream. It's called BizBot, and it's actually in our Slack channel to where I use it all the time. I use it all the time going, who's the project manager for this client? So I don't have to go around, hey, who's working on this job? You know, I can just type it in and ask it, and it's tapped into all of our operations. It's tapped into all our SOPs, all of our HR manuals. I mean, I can ask it vacation, whatever, and it can personalize it, saying you have this much vacation left over. This is how much you've used.
Right.
And I mean, it's literally an operational chatbot system. Plus, it's tied into all of our other Slack channels we have in there, so it'll make recommendations along the way if we're working on a client thing, or if we're the weather the other day. It said, bundle up. It's supposed to be even colder tomorrow with 2 more inches. And it's like, it knows. Now, it's not always accurate, but it's getting more and more accurate the more we feed it, and the more, just like any LLM.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, we have so much industry around here at Grand Rapids in particular. It's like, I think companies like that tend to look at their ERP that's from 2005, right? And it's old and it's a green screen, and they just disqualify themselves. Like, this is great. This would really help us, but we just can't use it. Like, our data is not ready, right?
Right.
So, and that's the cool thing is, like, you can't. We just need to work on how do we connect up the software that we're building to your system.
Yeah.
So, and we're piloting this software with a couple of the use cases that I mentioned, and that's the big push for us. Is like a couple of our pilot customers, like, they have that software that's locally hosted. You can't use APIs to get into it. It's like this fortress of knowledge. So for us, it's like, why don't we bridge that gap? Like, manufacturing in specific, like industry operates on such razor thin margins, like under 10% usually.
Yep.
So, and you guys need that 1 to 5% optimization boost the most, but you're not getting it because you don't think your data is ready. You don't think your software is smart enough. How can we bridge that gap for you? And that's the fun part about doing what we do. And I'm kind of touching on, like, why are we doing what we're doing? But, but
I think what you just said is going back to kind of what we said earlier, is you're uncovering use cases that the average Joe who reports into work and doesn't spend time learning about AI and what these tools can do, they just don't see those opportunities. They do think that AS400 data is locked behind, they don't realize that AI can now use the terminal just like you can. It can go to the same sites. It can type the same things that you do. It could access all that stuff and just pull it without you having to be there and grab that data out. So it's just really opening up opportunities that people normally just would not see.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting and that's where I think we bring value and why we want to help people. We're not getting anything out of this, but it sure is cool to hear stories like this. And Tammy, I feel like I need to meet Tammy now, but I love those kinds of stories.
Yeah, I disclaimer, I put names to I like to put names to roles instead of saying like AP rep. So you're gonna hear a lot of names from me. They're not all real, but I love to put names. So I'll try to, if you guys get lost, let me know. Yeah. It's so fun.
What, is there another success story that you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
So the Chatbot's a huge one. So in specific for like looking at your machine manuals or your parts catalogs, there's companies that they have teams dedicated to processing orders through, and it's because all these PDFs are just sitting in this huge, ugly OneDrive folder, and we can't access them. But every time we get a customer inquiry, we got to dig through gigabytes of data. So that was a huge success story for us, and that's why we're putting it in this suite, is we were able to hook that up to a chatbot so that they get a customer inquiry, say, hey, we want this tire part at this size for this brand, pull me the information on that. In 5 seconds, you get a response, you get a link to the PDF, and that's just huge. Getting rid of that monotony is massive for us. So
a personal story for me is... Actually, this is a funny story. So with the snow, this wintertime when we're recording this and snow blowing, I have a snowblower. I've had it for 10 years. Things runs like a champ. It always starts. I've only changed the oil like once in this in 10 years. It just keeps running. But it stopped running one day. And I started it and it would run for a little bit and it stopped. And I'd start it and it'd run for a little bit and it stopped. I'm like, damn it. It's finally catching up to me. I might need, and I was excited about buying a new snowblower too, because I wanted a dual stage and I wanted self-propelled, because right now I have to, do all my own work with it. But, so I went, to ChatGPT. I said, hey, here's a picture of my snowblower, find the manual, find the part number for the spark plugs. I think I need to change the spark plug. This thing's like 10 years old and just kind of felt like it was maybe fouling out. Mm-hmm. So it found it for me. I went and bought it at AutoZone, which is a whole different story. But I get home Oh, I also bought some fuel conditioner because I've been using the same like 5-gallon gas jug to fill this thing for like 5 years. It's the same 5-year-old gas. The fact that this thing runs at all is a freaking miracle.
Varnish, yeah.
Honda makes the best snowblowers. So I got the conditioner, and I'm like, I'll put the conditioner in first, and then I'll change the spark plug. So I undo the fuel thing, and I go to pour the conditioner, and I'm like, there's no gas in this thing. That's why it wasn't running. It was out of gas. So I didn't need the spark plugs. I didn't need the conditioner, but I still, put the conditioner in, all that kind of stuff. But AI found the manual and the part number for me, again, without me having to go pull up that PDF. So going back to your story, like those are the kind of things that computers do really well.
Totally.
And it can give you the information that you need, and it's reliable, and it can cite the source. So if you're like, well, what if it gives me the wrong part number for this tire or whatever? It will tell you, like, I got it from this manual. If you want to go check it out yourself, just click this link. It'll take you there, and you can verify that yourself if you want to have that human in the loop and do that verification.
And I think that's so important, right? Is like I think us tech folks try to sometimes talk about AI like it's this all-knowing, powerful, like it can do everything.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that humans and verification isn't important. So being able to just reference the part of that PDF instead of the 100 pages that you'd have to dig through saves you so much time. And it's not like that's going to take your job. It's just going to make the work fun again, so you're not kicking the dog when you get home.
Yeah.
So
we're going to save so many dogs with this podcast.
It's a bleak outcome.
But it's we kind of joke about it, but you spend a lot of time at work, and you cannot convince me that you don't take bad days home with you, and your family does not deserve that. So we can make work better. I think we make everything better. So it's cool that we get to do this.
Yeah,
talk about it. Where you guys are? How long has Scalable been around?
So we started in early summer of 2025. So not super long ago, but it was just good timing for us. So did the custom software thing for all of 2025. And it was great. I mean, we were able to help like 8 to 10 clients, and like it's awesome. We were able to really solve real problems. But we had kind of a team meeting towards the end of the year. Is like there's a lot of Tammys out there, and if we can only help 10 Tammys a year, we're not doing our job, right? Like there are more people to help. So for us, I mean, when we talk about like, what does it mean to be a part of Scalable AI? Why do we do what we do? And why are we doing this new thing with this suite of tools that you can just plug and play? It's so that we can help all the Tammys, right? So that we can help save more dogs, right?
Yeah.
And so that we could help in Michigan, we can help in Illinois, and reach places that we just couldn't reach, because it's like, we know you have these problems, but if we're starting from the blackboard every time we need to bring on a new client, like we're missing these use cases that exist. So rather than digging down to the ground floor, it's like at 2,000 feet, you have these problems, right? And we can, what if we solved all of these? What if we solved these problems for more people instead of taking the month and a half that it takes to do a custom software build? So it shifted into kind of this SaaS space, and really it's the team has been pumped. So we actually, it's been a talk for us over the last few weeks, is like, why do we do what we do? Why are we doing it the way that we're doing it? And it's really like, at the end of the day, it's to help more Tammys, right? We want to help those folks that want to come to work. They want to bring real value. They want to be strategic, but they're just getting lost in the punching data in, and it's just it's disappointing. But this tool is here, and so like, how can we bring that to as many companies as we can, and help as many Tammys as we can? That's why we're doing what we do. So.
Do you guys develop all these solutions internally?
Yeah, just gonna ask that.
So and that's kind of the cool thing about pivoting from custom software to this like SaaS suite model, is we're able to take a lot of the tools that we built last year and just put them into the suite. So everything we've built, we build hands on, and that's kind of our big why we're different. Is what we're really good at is working with those ERP systems that are hosted in the building. They don't have API access. We can build flows so that you can integrate within the building, like remote in or all these cool things, so that you can have access, you can be included in this new technology. Like you can have a BizBot, right?
Yeah.
So how do we reach those folks that really are lost in this space of doing the same thing over and over again? So we've built all these tools already. The big push for us is, how do we figure out integrating this into where it's previously been really difficult to do? So that's the next few months for us. And we have a lot of late night team calls of, Josh, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to get there. So it's a lot of fun.
That is fun. How much is AI assisting you in software development?
Oh, a ton. So I think the rise of like the Claude codes, the cursor is massive, right? Because you're able to do, and like the same, like do the same with less or do more with the same. It's like, it exists for us too in development. Is like, what if we could have, I mean, our team is 5 guys. So what if we have a team of our 5 that can output 10 developers worth of work because we're using these agentic tools. So we use it a ton for that. As well as like, I'm probably, I think I was like top 1% of Claude users of like just brainstorming these things out. It's so helpful as a thought partner. And it's really just we're getting to a point, and I don't want to say we're there yet, but like where there's a will, there's a way with these kind of tools. And so it's fun to see that evolve and grow.
We don't talk about Claude a lot. How much do we have time for?
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Do you want to talk about Claude, or do you have other things you want to dig into?
No, we can talk about Claude.
So we talk a lot about ChatGPT and that on here. We talk about N8 to N quite a bit, and some of these other lovable, some of these other agentic tools. But I've been paying a lot more attention to Claude and Anthropic lately. And Sam Altman from OpenAI just recently admitted that they may have made a mistake in the direction they were going with 5.2, and that they want to now focus more on code, which is really where Anthropic and Claude have been living in coding, and it's working out very, very well for them. So one of the coolest things that I saw from them, and it's a little older now, and more models are picking it up, but this idea of skills. Are you guys leveraging skills when you're using Claude? And for the people who might not know what that is, if you are using it, could you just kind of talk about what that is?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could probably give you 5,000 feet, but like I'm lucky to have guys that are way smarter than me that are the ones building this stuff. So I don't want to say like, this is what we're doing and totally butcher it. They probably have like these guys, if like a new tool comes out at midnight, they know about it by 3 a.m. Right.
Yes.
So, but like having these sub agents that like review your code, do front end design, do supplementary, like organizing like the way the code is structured, like that's so huge. And so we do quite a bit of that. Of when we're reviewing, it's like just straight up Claude is great. Like the same way ChatGPT is good on its own, but if we can add context and focus to these agents, they just take a next step, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like a general business degree versus like an accounting degree. So what if we could give like a code reviewing degree to an agent, or a front end design review degree to an agent, and giving them specializations? It's just like having a team of AIs working together on a problem is like it blows my mind still. Yeah. So
it's kind of like the Matrix, right? When you plug in Neo and he's like, I know Kung Fu. That's what a skill is when it comes to Claude. Like you're just. And if there isn't already, there certainly will be some kind of storefront that you can go to, and you're going to buy, that particular skill, plug it in, and all of a sudden, Kung Fu, or Claude knows Kung Fu because you have that skill. So it doesn't have to go learn it. You found something that you really like and you want to repeat it. So you just say, use this skill. When I ask you to do this, use this skill every time, because that's the way that I want it done.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, when you talk about AI, like it's ultimately like a pattern recognition algorithm, right? So it's really just about the context that it has, right? Like if I give it files from across all divisions of this is how you do development work, like we're going to get a pretty good product out of that, but we're not going to get the niche focus that we can get when we only give context on this skill. So like allowing them to focus on that, and that's like, this is all you're trained on. It's cool. And I think we have time to talk about Claude, maybe not enough time, but these tools are so cool, and specializing your agents, like that's what we're trying to do with our suite. But we do that so much internally for our development as well.
Yeah. How much code is your team still writing, like as a percentage?
I would say a fair amount. And that's the thing is like, it's very easy when you come in from the business lens to be like, AI can do all of our development, right? But it can't. Like there's parts, like there's back-end structuring and there's like, how do we build, like for us, like for an example, it's like, how do we build this flow to integrate with an ERP? Like they can't do that. So that's, I would say we're about 40-60 agent to human on development right now, because there are skills that it's like, it's really important to have a human do that, because I mean, as great as AI is, like talk about it from a business sense, as great as AI is, it can't get on a phone with a customer and really make a sales call. I mean, I guess it kind of can, but not very well.
Technically,
but so it's just how do we preserve the things humans are really good at and get rid of the part that's just boring and monotonous about development? It's true in every industry. So.
Do you think BizStream is the same percentage, the same mixture?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of reiterate the same thing, that there's still a lot of complexities out there that only humans can decipher, and there's too much human detail and knowledge on the fly that has to keep changing and evolving when you're building that chunk of code versus just here it is, go build it. You know, it's a different way of building it that it can't replicate yet. And we're constantly evolving, and you guys are doing the same thing, constantly evolving tools to replicate parts of that.
Yep.
But as a whole, it's just not quite there yet. So you still have to have that human in the loop to kind of add those details in and add that evolving context that's in it. So
I was thinking, I just saw it was a tweet from Andre Karpathy. He's like one of the OGs in the AI space. And somebody had asked him, I think it was Andre, I could be wrong. Somebody is definitely a leader in the space, and they asked him, like, how much code are you writing? And I want to be very technical when I say writing. He said 0. Mm-hmm. So he's not hands-on keyboard anymore. He's like you, Drew. He's talking to it. So he's coding verbally.
Yeah.
So he'll say,
nice.
Because he knows how to code. He's been coding forever. But he'll just say to Claude, like, go do this, go do that. Like, he's not hands-on keyboard anymore, which is pretty wild to think.
Right.
Like, and he's very much forward-leaning, and I don't expect, us regular humans to catch up to that for a while. But that's where this is going. Is you're just going to describe what you want the software to do, and it's literally just going to write it.
And I think that's been a hard part also, is like at some level you got to take things like that with a grain of salt, right? Like when Sam Altman says coders development are going to be gone in 5 years. It's like, yeah, that's great, Sam, but like, what do you make money by? It's by selling these tools and selling API credits to ChatGPT.
Yep.
So it is useful to be mindful of, like, people are saying things, not always true, not always best practice, but you got to be mindful about, like, where are they incentivized to grow? So that's kind of what we talk about with, like, Sam Altman, like Elon, like these guys that are trying to sell these tools and say AI is the future. There are some, like, there's you got to decipher what's sales and what's actual product. So,
Totally.
But
And I don't think it can replace everything 100%, because it just elevates to the next level of, then we can build bigger. Like you said, it replaces all the low line, repetitive, I hate this part about my job. Now I can focus on the bigger stuff.
Right.
Well, as soon as it replaces that, now I can focus on the bigger stuff again.
Right.
It just pushes us and evolves it higher and higher to bigger and better stuff. That's why we have iPhones now. That's why, because it got pushed even further and still needs to be developed. So it can't replace all of it. It's just not
It's a great
evolutionary
Yeah.
possible.
yeah, I
It
think
replaces a lot of the stuff right now that we're doing, but we're going to be building even cooler shit after that.
Yeah.
right. And I think that's that's big as well, is like, we as, like, in the tech community, I think we have this lens of, like, we need to build the next ChatGPT and we need to build this next cool evolutionary thing, when really, like, we're missing the ground floor. Like, we can do so much with what we have, but we're not, because it's like, let's build this next AI avatar, like, that we can talk to and you can see it, like this hologram. And it's like, that's great, but, like, what problem are we really solving there, guys? So that's a big thing as well, is like, we can build this next cool thing and it's going to be great. And you go to a trade show, people are going to love it. It's going to get people at your booth. But internally, it's like, we can solve a lot of these problems with what we have. Why don't we focus on that?
Yeah.
So I think so many people, especially on the coast, are missing out on that, because it's like, let's use AI to generate short form content and all these cool things that can make the models 1% better, right? Versus, like, what if we just help Tammy make her life 50% better? That's worthwhile.
I do agree with that. Then you start building a solution looking for a problem. at
Totally.
that point. And it's
Yeah.
like you log in and then connect to this and then do this and make sure it's powered up and make sure you have an account for this. Then you can take notes.
Right.
Or I could just take a piece of paper and a pencil
Yeah.
and I'm done in 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's the other side to that mindset. Like we talk about like the AI lens. It's like AI lens can get out of control from time to time of like, it's helpful to have both sides of that coin of like, yeah, this is cool, this is helpful, but like, do we really need this?
Right.
So-
I always equate it. And I said this for years, but even before AI, it would be awesome to have a TV in my bathroom, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Best Buy tonight to buy one and hang it up, but it'd
Yeah.
be neat. But again, it's not something I need to solve.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't need to sit there longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. My doctor would disagree.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that we talked about at the start of like, what does it mean to be scale? What does it mean for AI to be scalable within business? It's like I get it. I get this the wrong way in my own life, like function over fashion. You know,
Yes,
it's like we can build this next cool thing, but like we're looking for a problem to our solution, versus like we're going the other way of like we have these problems. How can we solve them?
Yeah.
Maybe we use AI, maybe we don't. Some of the tools that we have that we're building in the suite, they don't even use AI, right? Some of them just don't, but they solve real problems tangibly
Right.
because we're starting with the problem instead of starting with the technology and the solution.
And I think as a SaaS company, that's very hard because you go,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I can build this and I can
Right.
build this and I can build that. And you, like you said, hold on, what are we trying to solve again?
Right. And it's like,
why are we building all this?
it's like, it's cool. It's going to get us into YC and it's going to get us investor money, but it's like, what?
At the end of the day, what is it doing?
That's what's been big for us of like the why is like, why do we do this? Is it to make it to the coast and is it to be a 30 under 30 and is it to be all these cool things about innovators or is it to help Tammy?
Yeah.
Is it to help all the Tammys out there? And so refocusing that lens and like,
It's a good way to stay grounded.
how can we help
Yeah.
the people instead of how can we build the next cool thing?
It's a great way to stay grounded.
I think it helps.
I think that will strengthen your business too.
Yeah.
Because you're always grounded on real use of it. So you're not, oh, cool, we just took on $100 million.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck this solves. You know? I mean, there's so many of those businesses that you
Totally,
see
yeah.
where it's like, whoops, we put the cart before the horse a little bit.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think it helps the whole AI community because what's been holding it back, or what, not what the thing, but one of the things that's been holding it back is where's the practical application of
Right.
this? We need more of you, like really helping Tammys out, because then it starts to spread and like, oh, this can actually really help people. It actually makes people happier in their
Right.
job because they're not doing the stuff they hate to do. We need a lot more of that, and we're starting to see some traction. But the more successful you guys are at doing that, the more it helps all of us in this space for sure.
Yeah, that's our push is how can we help the people? And it's such it's been fun for us as we zoom in and see all the people that we're tangibly helping instead of just building this cool thing of like, how do we make life easier? How do we make work fun again? Instead of doing a new cool thing, making that AI avatar. It's such
great
a blast.
outlook. I love that outlook. I love that outlook. Just
Same.
a practical outlook on it. Let's leave it there.
Love
I
it.
want to leave it there because that's a perfect way to stop. So tell our viewers where we can find you.
Yeah. So catch me on LinkedIn, Joshua Ross on LinkedIn. Our website is getscalable.ai. I will say it needs a facelift. You're going to go on there and think we're still doing custom software. But yeah, we're releasing this suite of tools in April of this year. It's going to be a big push for us of how can we help more Tammys out there. So yeah, getscalable.ai is our website. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm super pumped about this stuff. Love to help people. So that's what we do.
Awesome. I love that enthusiasm. That's exciting. It's inspirational is what it is. Mr. Joshua Ross, I appreciate you being a guest on our show. Love talking with you. We'd love to have you back at some point too.
Yeah.
As you scale your scalable AI business, I'd love to see where that grows and what you can come back and tell us even more stories.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So awesome. Thanks, man. If you like today's episode, please like and subscribe and drop us a comment down below. How are you helping the Tammys that are out there? Let us know.
Helping.
Help.
How are you helping?
All right. That's all. Thanks, everybody.